Hi, my name is Heather. I am from Arthur's Knitting Business, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to purl left-handed. So if you haven't already, you will need to know how to cast on and how to knit. So I do have tutorials for these processes, but feel free to find any other tutorials or videos that you find most helpful, but you will need to know those two techniques first of all before we get started. So I'm going to dive straight in. I've got 11 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 on my right needle, which is in my right hand, which we call the holder because it does nothing but hold our stitches. The biggest difference between knitting and purling is, well, there's quite a few differences, but one of the main ones is your yarn. When you knit, your yarn stays at the back of your needles at all times. When you purl, it stays to the front. So we've always got to keep our yarn end at the front of our needles. I'm so sorry my camera keeps moving. My tripod is on its last legs, literally. So it's sensitive to literally everything. So I'm going to try so hard not to move unnecessarily. And I'm also just going to slowly lift my forearms off my table because that's also might be causing it. Purling. I'm going to take my left needle. Now with this process, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using our left needle. We're going to feed our left needle through the back of our stitch, and we're bringing it from the back of our right needle to the front. And when we do that, it means that our left needle is going to be overlapping the right needle. Whereas when we knit, it's the other way around. So that's also one of the biggest differences when it comes to purling, is where your needles will be lying. And I'll leave it like this. When I say we're going to be going through the back of the stitch, this is what I'm referring to. So if I had this side on in front of me, I've got my front leg of my stitch here, and I've got the back leg of my stitch here. We are going through the back leg of the stitch. Okay, so that's what I'm referring to. And again, we're going from the back of the right needle to the front. Just like when I'm knitting, I then use my right hand to hold my left needle in position, to hold it there securely for me, just while I take my yarn, which is facing forward, and I'm going to wrap the yarn around my left needle, going from the bottom of the needle up to the top to cross over. I'm going to take hold of my left needle again with my left hand, and now I'm going to bring the needle down, and I'm going to push. I'm going to push the yarn that I've just wrapped round through the stitch that my needle was through. So we're pushing it through, and now I've got one stitch on my left needle. I no longer need this one, so I'm going to bring the stitches to the top of my right needle and kick that one off. Let's do that again. So remember, you want to keep your stitches near the top of your needles. There's no point keeping them in the middle because it's just going to make the process a lot harder. We're going to take the left needle. We're going through, I want to hold it a side view, but then it's going to be so confusing for you. So I'm going to hold it in a view that you will see your own stitches. I'm going to place the left needle through the back of the stitch, going from the back of the right needle to the front like so. I'm going to use my right hand to hold my left needle securely whilst I get hold of my yarn, and I wrap it going from the bottom over to the top. Take back hold my left needle, and I'm going to push or pull, I would say push, pull the wrapped yarn through the stitch which my needle had gone through, and I can now kick the old one off. So there we go. This is purling. So again, we go through the back. So we're going from the back to the front. Use my right fingers to hold that needle, wrap round, and push through, and kick off. One thing I have found with students in the past is if your tension's quite tight, it can be really quite difficult to bring your needle from the back of that stitch to the front. So sometimes if you just lift the stitch up slightly, I don't know if you can see that, but it raises the back leg of your stitch, which means it's easier for your needle to then hook or pick it up and bring it where it needs to go. So that's just a nice little tip there for you. And then bring it to the back and kick it off. and that is purling. So I'm going to leave you with that. Whoopsie doodles. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can tell you to help you, but no, there isn't. The key for this, like anything, is practice, perseverance, but also the tension. If you have a good tension of your stitches, you can do this. I'm not going to say easily, because nothing is easy. I think everybody has their own levels of difficulties. But I will say with ease, because it will be less difficult no matter what your skill set is if the stitches are not too tight on those needles. So there we go. I sincerely hope you found this useful. I'm sorry if it was a bit short and quick, but I just went to the point today. And yeah, I'll leave you there. As always, happy knitting.